Retrospectives in 5 minutes. I am making this for those of you who might be a beginner to intermediate in retrospective facilitation. Also, some of you may be seasoned facilitators of retrospectives, but maybe you're in a rut and looking for some creative new ideas on how to facilitate. And lastly, this is for those of you who are looking to feel a little bit more comfortable in facilitating retrospectives. Here we go. Before I get into the practical tools that I use and how I've run some of the retros and some creative ideas, I'm going to first walk through a simple agenda that anyone could use for pretty much any retrospective for any team, and it should be successful. We start out with an icebreaker every time. That lasts about 15 to 20 minutes. I'll get into icebreakers in a moment. Then we go through the review of our previous action items from the previous retrospective. We go into the retrospective introduction. I introduce the format we'll be using for the day. I'll take questions, and then I'll usually put about 7 minutes on the clock for everyone to quietly think about what they want to contribute that session. We then will go into the open discussion. We'll then go into the prioritization and voting. Again, I'll get to that in a moment. We will then go through the action items, ideation, and team agreement on what they want to tackle in the next sprint. And lastly, we'll do a checkout, which is often a safety check. Quite a bit of extra information that could be useful to you. I have put it on the screen. Feel free to pause and read it if you find it helpful. Let's get into the practicality section. So, icebreakers. Some of you might be laughing, some of you might be into this. I promise you it's worth trying at least once. I have had so many team members express how much they've actually looked forward to this part every sprint. It's shocking to me, but that's truly happened. So one of the icebreakers that I like to do with my teams is an extreme sport sprint. I ask them to think about their sprint, and I ask them to look at these different types of sport pictures and pick which one they most relate to, and I try to get them to explain why. Sometimes they will, sometimes they will not, and the answers are interesting. It gets them thinking about their sprint. Another one, office scavenger hunt. Great. Come in the morning, people are tired, people may not even want to be there. Get them started. Go ask them to find random things in the office. Ask them to get autographs of other team members or other office mates. It's fun. It's stupid. You laugh. It's great. The question wheel. Go to Google, type in question wheel, find one, put in some random questions, take a spin, have everyone take a turn and answer it. It's also just easy, simple. Mood check-in. You can do this in so many different formats. This is an emoji one. You can do Star Trek, Star Wars, Simpsons, anything. And you can ask everyone, how are they feeling today? This sometimes helps give everyone more insight on how they're feeling and why, which will then actually explain a little bit about how they contribute to the retrospective that day. Lastly, would you rather? This is always super simple. This is always kind of funny. Would you rather questions? Sometimes it starts a debate. Sometimes it starts some thought-provoking conversation. Any of these are great. You can also Google icebreakers. There's plenty of ideas out here. I've done all of these and they have been all successful. I would recommend never doing the same retrospective template more than once for the same team. Unless there's a circumstance where you just feel like that's the absolutely correct retrospective to do for the day. If the more you change it up, the more they think differently, the more things will speak to some people, and it'll just draw out different ideas and you'll get different feedback. So it's really good practice to switch it up every time. It also makes it more fun, less boring, less mundane. Easy retro. I've been using this for over 5 years, I think, or I don't know. I don't remember. But anyway, I love this one. It's so simple. You have your board, you have your columns here, you can change the format, you can edit these, and then you basically will copy the URL. You'll send it out to your team members. They don't have to sign up. They don't have to sign in. Everyone has access to the board right away, and it's real time. As they're putting down their cards, you will see them show up on the board. You also have your voting, which makes dot voting and prioritization really, really easy. You have comments. You can also drag and drop these to combine them. So it's really simple. They make it just super intuitive. Secondly, if you go to Easy Retro, Sprint Retrospective Ideas, they have 100 plus on their site. You will never run out of ideas. Like, I have come to this so many times, and it's just a wealth of retrospective ideas. Klaxoon, same type of thing. They have a lot of retrospective ideas on their site. You can always come here. Miro, another great one. I love Miro. They have different themes and formats that or templates that have already pre-made in their Miroverse. I have the free Miro. I use these all the time. This is a Mario Kart themed one. There was one day where a different team actually asked me if I had a template I could share. I gave them the Mario Kart one, just kind of a shot in the dark. They loved it. One woman who said that the retros had been kind of like, not so spot on. She came back after that retro and was like, this was it. This is what we needed. I was like, all right, cool. I don't know why. I don't know why Mario Kart spoke to you that day, but there it was. Lean Coffee, it's another great one. If you just don't know what to do, this one is so good because it's team driven. They come up with the topics, they drive the conversation, they vote on which ones they want to talk about. You time box each one of the topics, and then you agree when you're done discussing, and you come up with action items organically. And then lastly, Agile Strides. It's another site I've been using for the past few years. And there's a lot of ideas for icebreakers and retro formats and templates here. So definitely would recommend. All right, so you've seen my practical tools that I use. You've gotten hopefully some ideas on how to run your next retros. Lastly, the purpose of the retros. This is the most important part. So when I interview Scrum Masters, I always ask a question. What, in your opinion, is the most important Scrum ceremony? There's no right or wrong answer, but I'm always hoping that they're going to say the retrospective. And this is because this is the time where the team gets to pause their work. They get to pause all the demands, all the pressure that's going on. They get to come together as a team together, just this team, and they get to talk about what's working for them, what's not working for them, and how they want to self-organize to change the ways that they're working and what they need to do to continuously improve. I think you could get rid of every single other Scrum ceremony and just give a team a retrospective every 2 weeks, and they will ultimately come up with some sort of process and ways of working that will work for them. So this is why I think the retrospective is most important. It should have a lot of time and attention put towards it. They can be fun, and ultimately they're team driven. So as a Scrum Master, you don't have to do very much. You just have to make it simple and safe and interesting, and the team will do the rest.